In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I budget my finances every month, and this is going to be really helpful for you going into next month. That way you can get everything sorted all in one place. I have built this dashboard inside Notion because I've seen all these complicated financial budgeting templates online, and honestly, they were a little bit overwhelming for me. So I made my own. It's super simple inside Notion. I'll drop it in the description box for you guys to check out. I've got my monthly budget, I track my personal expenses, and I keep all my accounts in one place, super easy to find. So we're gonna jump inside of my laptop now. That way I can walk you through exactly how I budget my finances every month. That way you can use these tips too to keep yourself organized and set yourself up for a super successful year next year. So hopping into my Notion document here, I built a super simple financial dashboard. You can customize the photo up here, change the emoji, that way it's really personal to you. I find that making it a place that you like being will help you stay consistent with updating it. So the first thing I have is my financial overview. This is where everything goes. I put all the links to my different bank accounts here. That way every single month I can check my starting balance and I check my ending balance, which is so helpful. I know a lot of people that budget, they write down so many complicated things. They're tracking every little point, their percentages and everything. That was too overwhelming for me, so I just wanted one simple, streamlined area. So I will link all my bank accounts here, and this is my template, so I want to show you guys it blank, that way you can envision it for yourself. Link your personal bank accounts. If you run a business, link your business bank account. And then I also recommend setting up a high yield savings account. If you have any money in savings, instead of just letting it sit in your savings account and having it not earn any interest, what I recommend doing is throw it into a high yield savings account. Personally, I use Ally, which I love, and then it's earning interest for you. That way you're not losing money as the inflation rate goes up. So sounds a little complicated. If you're new to finances, it's super simple. And then I also link my investment accounts here, and then I link my credit card here. That way every month I can log in and make sure that my credit card is working beautifully just as it is. What I recommend you do is set up automatic payments on your credit card. That way they automatically pay off every month. And a good rule of thumb to follow is if you can't pay for it on a debit card, you shouldn't be putting it on a credit card. And then I also track my credit score at the beginning of each month. That way I can see how it changes with time. So at the beginning of each month, I like writing down a starting balance, so how much money is in each different account, and then at the end of the month, I write down those balances as well. This is going to fluctuate as you're getting paid. Personally, I pay myself out of my business, so it's always fluctuating. Some months I'm like, you know what, I want to pay myself an extra $1,000 this month, so I send over an extra $1,000 from my business account. That's great. But all you do here is put in your starting balances for all the accounts and ending balances, and then every month just duplicate this spreadsheet. That way you have a fresh, clean template, and then you can see your progress. So then I tally up all these balances to get my total net worth, and I subtract the amount that's on my credit card if there is a withstanding balance. Super simple. And then I can track how my net worth changes in the beginning of the month versus the end of the month. And then I also write down my credit score here. That way I can see how that starts and ends. Usually that's the same at the beginning and end of the month, but I just like writing it down. That way, for example, if this is the template from December, when I duplicate this for January, it's still written down for January. Going into my monthly budget, I write down a simple budget here. You can set whatever numbers you want, but personally I write down the planned for how much my home costs every month. I pre-schedule in fun money as a category, so that's things like getting my nails done or doing something like that. I schedule my Ally savings account. I also like to schedule my donations. Sometimes I'll just write that in the savings account for some reason, but honestly, it'd probably be helpful if I just added a tab and titled that donations. Then I have my Fidelity investing, so that's me investing in my retirement account. I schedule in groceries, eating out, and gas, and then I have the total for what I plan the monthly budget to be. And then in order to get the actual amount I spent that month, what's great is I track all my personal expenses in this category. So a lot of times people don't write down their actual expenses, they just look at their debit card and they trust that. But I find that when you're not actively writing them down, it's easy to not pay attention or to not feel like it's important. So personally, I like writing it down. This is an example from a carryover month from like last month or something at the beginning, but I'm just writing down how much I pay for rent. And then under here, I select the category. Then at the end of the month, all you had to do is hit this tab and click group by category. It'll then break all your expenses into different categories, and then all the expenses will go in here beautifully. And then things like groceries, it'll give you a total. So let's say that's $200. I can then just go up here and write down that for groceries, I spent $200. And if my budget was $300, then the difference is I was in the positive 100. I like hitting those numbers pretty exact or just being under those numbers. And then what's nice to know is you don't have to feel like it's some rigid structure. My main goal is to have my total be the number I want to hit. So maybe some months I spend more on my home because heat or air conditioning, but then if I'm spending more money on heating, then I'm spending less money on fun money. So that's how I'm able to group it by category. So I just literally pull up my debit card statement and my credit card statement. I just write down all the expenses, all the amounts, and then categorize them. And then I'm able to just quickly jump over to the categories. So that's why I track my personal expenses, which if you're new to budgeting, that's all you need to track. But then what I also like doing is tracking my business revenue. That way I can track how many sales I'm making in digital downloads, from ad revenue on different social media platforms, from client sales, one-on-one sales, group coaching sales, all my different sources of revenue. From my membership, I like having written down here. And then I can track my business expenses here as well, so I know exactly how much money I'm spending in business. Obviously, this is an example page because I wasn't putting cupcakes on a business expense. That must have been from my personal account. But that's exactly how I budget my business revenue, my business expenses, and then I don't have a business budget for myself because my business has been scaling so quickly. I'm always in the positive by a large, healthy amount, so I haven't designed a budget. Obviously, that's something I should be doing shortly, is designing exactly how much money I want to spend every month in my business, but I know those numbers personally, written inside my business Notion template. But this just keeps it really simple to be able to see all of your stats in one place. That way it's really easy. So I'm going to leave this template for you guys in the description box to check out, or feel free to make your own and just use mine as inspiration and design your own inside Notion or inside Google Spreadsheets. But what's key is just having an overview you check in on every month, creating a budget, and then just tracking your expenses, because then you'll get crystal clear on, you know, exactly how much money is coming in and going out. Because when you ignore those numbers, it's easy to not really care or just, you know, oh, it's fine, let me just spend $10 on this. But when you know you're writing it in a spreadsheet, it works as that like checkpoint, so you don't overspend in any categories. And then for me personally, I've never had a problem with overspending. I have a problem with like, oh, I'm saving too much, saving too aggressively. So this budget helped me to realize that I can look at, okay, I've saved enough this month. I've hit my checkpoint of I've saved enough. Now I'm going to use that money to do something fun like get a massage or travel. So I hope this video was helpful to show you exactly how to budget your personal finances and the monthly check-in routine I do. Feel free to drop in the description if you have any questions about this, and I'd be more than happy to help you. Or drop any questions about finances in general, and I'd be more than happy to make a video explaining high yield savings accounts or how I run my business finances, because my goal on this channel is to just help you become the most self-improved version of yourself. That way you can build your dream life. I am happy to have you here.